Kennywood's record-breaking roller coaster with the highest inversion in the world packs one hell of a list of rare and unique elements. But does it live up to the hype? Let's get right into it. When pulling up to this park, the ride makes quite the statement. Seeing it from across the river is jaw-dropping, and it definitely has changed the skyline of this place in a big way. The hype begins before you even get into the park. This roller coaster starts off with a slow lift that increases in speed, which builds anticipation nicely and offers incredible views over the river and old steel plants. As you crest the lift hill, there's just a small dip instead of a drop, and then you are into the highest inversion in the world, a corkscrew Drakenfire dive drop at 197 feet in the air, named after the defunct Drakenfire at Busch Gardens, but it has a more modern flow and angle to it. Unfortunately, you don't really get much hang time in this element, and it's over before you even know it began. The ride then hits its top speed of 75 miles per hour as you bank slightly left and head into the banana roll, a Cobra roll-like element but with more speed and less banking to it. It's a lot more comfortable than a Cobra roll, but on Steel Curtain the element is over awfully quickly. This, along with the next Sea Serpent roll, are not as forceful or intense as you would hope, and the ride has an odd but not too uncomfortable rattle to it at this point that's noticeable through this forgettable first half. This slight rattle, the amount of speed the ride carries, and the large seats that block your view are reasons that you have to wait for the front row of this attraction. This incredibly fast-paced section of the ride is really not a talking point. The pacing's there, but I actually wish that first element was slower so you can enjoy some hang time through these massive inversions. As you exit the large main structure, this is where this ride really picks up in excitement. Over the pathway, you find yourself out of your seat with a nice pop of airtime before heading into this awesome dive loop. In this dive loop, you get some airtime that transforms into hang time in one smooth motion, followed by the small section of straight track just feet over the water. This is a really nice element and likely my favorite dive loop that I've ever experienced. You're quickly thrown into a 0G stall, which is inversion number 8. There's no hang time here and the element doesn't last long enough to really enjoy it. It's sometimes fun to look straight down during these types of elements while you ride, but this one, it doesn't really make it worthwhile. I'd have to say that RMC does the stall in a more fun and more comfortable way. The finale to Steel Curtain is the highlight of the ride. A nice pop of airtime, a heartline roll, corkscrew-like inversion filled with hang time, and some quick turns with vertical and some surprising but comfortable lateral Gs. A rare cutback, a few more turns, and you're headed into the final brake run. The final elements all go so well together, and they're a super strong and cohesive finish to this coaster. It is the perfect ending. I wish it could be longer because those 15 seconds are an incredible moment. Overall, while watching Steel Curtain from the ground, the moments that you think will be the highlights of this coaster are actually the moments that are forgettable. I also wish that the coaster utilized Kennywood's terrain like the rest of the coasters in the park. Now let's break down the coaster into 5 key categories that I feel make a roller coaster great, and also see what you guys rated the ride from home. The Steel Curtain is thrilling from start to finish. The ride gets more intense as it continues and even seems to gather more speed as you progress through the layout since the elements get tighter and the transitions quicker. It's a perfect amount of thrill with all sorts of vertical and lateral forces that are never too uncomfortable. Sure, they're not the most insane Gs that you've ever experienced, and the vibrations can get annoying, but there's a lot of different inversions on this ride that you've likely never experienced before on a coaster, which is pretty cool. The pacing on this ride is quite unbelievable, but there are some misses for me. The first element could have had a nice zen moment of hang time before the insane speed that ensues through the rest of the layout. It really was a miss in my book to not have Copperhead Strike-like hang time through that massive element. Other than that, there's really no slow moments through the following 8 inversions. It's a fun time. Technical. This ride doesn't feel like it has 9 inversions, which I think is a good thing. Looking at a ride like Colossus, you have elements that you feel are just there to hit the inversion count. With Steel Curtain, everything technically flows together perfectly with no uncomfortable slams through any element. 9 inversions are also all quite unique. While this ride has vibrations that started on day 1 and it makes me wonder what it'll be like in 5 years, it's not an issue with the comfortable seats and lap bars. Plus, the elements are shaped in a manner that is more comfortable than they would have been if it was shaped 20 years ago. It's a huge ride for S&S that they really did a good job with. If you like whippy, classic B&M shaped Cobra rolls and corkscrews, these aren't them. Entries and exits into each element are almost too perfect. The stall could also have less of a radius to really get riders out of their seat during the short upside down moment. And that lanky support structure makes this one of the most intimidating looking coasters out there. It's just a mess of support perfection. It's technically beautiful.
Theming lacks on this ride. It really has a parking lot feel and a theme park filled with terrain-hugging rides and history. Personally, I wish they themed it to the steel industry instead of the brightly colored Pittsburgh Steelers. Just imagine how cool this structure would have looked if it was rust-colored and surrounded by an industrial-looking station and area. It would fit into the surrounding steel factory-like structures, and the dark color would look menacing, towering over the park. But because of the colors, I'm sure some people think of it as an eyesore once you're in the park and around the historic buildings on Kennywood's Midway. Theming was a massive miss for me, but it's great to see a connection between a big sports league and a theme park. I'm just not sure it was the right way to do it, but I'm sure the people of Pittsburgh would disagree with me. This is a unique ride. It has a collection of elements you won't see on any other ride. The steel curtain is different in every way, and I like that. If it had a theme that fit the area and better interactions, it could have been one of the best coasters I've been on. But it just leaves a, damn, that had potential to be really good thought in your mind after you hit that brake run. Now let's see what you guys ranked Steel Curtain from home, and also tally up that final score. Steel Curtain is an incredibly good ride with some downfalls. Some elements are a miss, and the ride is missing that oh my god, here we go moment for me. The coaster is also a parking lot ride in a terrain-filled park. Overall, I give it a 7.1. After a ton of votes from you guys at home, you rated this ride a 7.58 out of 10, which falls in between Diamondback and Cheetah Hunt. It falls in the top 15% of coasters for me. It's not as good as Steel Phantom at Kennywood, but it's better than most S&S made rides. It's a really good coaster that you need to get over to Kennywood to try out, because where else are you going to find this strange collection of elements all in one coaster? Thank you for watching. If you want more coaster videos, please subscribe to my channel, or you can go to my Instagram to follow me around the parks, and that's also where you'll be able to have your vote count on the next coaster that I review.